Hello guys, if you're a first time viewer, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Today, let's talk about symbiosis. First off, what is a symbiote? Well, a symbiote is defined as being a living organism living in symbiosis with another different living organism. So when you first hear the word symbiote or symbiosis, the chances are you automatically think of marbles, venom and/or carnage, which are essentially aliens that attach themselves to mostly human hosts. Whilst Venom and Carnage's enhanced abilities of power, speed, wall crawling and the use of tendrils are confined to comic books and movie screens, there are plenty of real life organisms that attach themselves to other creatures to create symbiotic relationships in which they gain abilities and skills not natural to their own species. For example, the bobtail squid has developed a symbiotic relationship with a bioluminescent bacteria that it houses within a light organ. The squid then feeds the bacteria sugars and amino acids to help it thrive and grow. In return, through chemical reaction, the bacteria provides the squid with a light that matches the ambient light from the surface of the ocean. This light essentially eliminates the squid's silhouette, making it invisible to its prey. And of course, symbiosis is seen throughout the animal kingdom in various forms, with them mainly falling into three main categories: mutualism, commensalism, and parasitism. I really struggle saying that last word, but I think it's parasitism. Okay. So first of all, let's look at mutualism. This is a symbiotic relationship where both parties benefit. For example, clownfish will nest amongst the tentacles of anemones, giving the fish protection from predators that steer clear of the anemone's neurotoxin-filled tentacles, which the clownfish are immune to. And in return, the clownfish provides the anemone with nutrients via its feces, drives off other neurotoxin-immune intruders, and also uses its bright orange colour to attract prey for the anemone to consume. Some species of ants and aphids also have a mutually beneficial relationship, which sees the ants milking the aphids for their waste product, which comes in the form of a sugary liquid known as honeydew. In return for providing this disgusting meal, the aphids are protected from predators and parasites. And the ants would also take aphid eggs back to their nest so they can more easily harvest the delicious honeydew the aphids provide them with. Next up, we have commensalism symbiosis. This is where one party benefits, but the other is essentially unaffected. An example of this is the cattle egret, a species of heron that lives amongst cattle, feeding on the insects and the worms that are stirred up as the herd moves along, then resting on the cattle's back once they've finished eating. This relationship only benefits the egret, but has little to no effect on the cattle themselves. Plants also have commensalistic relationships with animals. An example of this is the burdock plant, which has seeds with long curved spines on them. These seeds will then get caught in the fur of passing animals to only fall off at a different location, meaning the burdock plant benefits by spreading its seed, quite literally, but the animals to which the seeds were attached are entirely unaffected. And thirdly, we have parasitic symbiosis. This is a form of symbiosis in which one party entirely benefits and the other is harmed. For example, we have mistletoe. Yes, that stuff romanticised at Christmas is in fact a parasitic fungus. Mistletoe will attach itself to trees, infiltrating its bark with its roots to steal its water and its nutrients, effectively paralysing the tree. We then have parasitoid wasp species, which, depending on the type, will lay their eggs on or within other arthropods. At some point, the eggs will hatch and the wasp larvae will consume their surrogate mothers. This is clearly only a benefit to the wasp, as the host will essentially be eaten alive. Now, if we go back to talking about the mutualistic relationship between some ants and aphids, some species of ants and aphids also have a mutually beneficial relationship. There are times when this relationship actually becomes parasitic. This is because there are two types of aphid morphs: the round morph, which the ants milk for their honeydew, and the flat ant mimicking morph, which, when introduced into the ant's nest, will start to feed on the fluid of the ant's larvae. So, while symbiosis is a common thing in nature, what about the artificial symbiotic relationships between man and machine? The human race's use of technology, from socializing and entertainment to medical procedures and acts of war, is a tale as old as time. But whilst we don't automatically think of our relationships with tech as being symbiotic, it could be argued that most of our relationships with modern day technology fall under the commensalism category. Cochlear implants, pacemakers, and industrial robotic arms are all examples of tech that we have created that entirely benefit us as humans, but the tech itself is entirely unaffected by the relationship. However, that changes somewhat when you introduce the use of smartphones. And I would also say that this is a mutualistic symbiotic relationship, because the more we scroll, search, view, swipe and like, the more our smartphones learn about us as people and the better the content they provide for us, which of course over time benefits us as the user of the smartphone. But this is only the start of our mutualistic symbiotic relationships with technology, because the expansion of research and development into human augmentation technologies is producing some fascinating and sometimes worrying results. Examples of these include bioprinting, where, much like 3D printing, technology is able to print and build organic tissue to create bones and skin and organs, which is of course a huge thing for the medical industry. Then we have neurolinking. This is essentially where humans' brains are implanted with technology that allows us to communicate via our brains with computers, which of course opens up an entire universe of benefits. And there is also technology in its early stages, which essentially comes in the form of earbuds which translates foreign languages in real time, thus eliminating the need to learn other languages and creating a world of better and more efficient communication. So whilst these examples once again see a mutualistic relationship between man and technology, it does for me beg the question, could the constantly evolving links between different technologies eventually see it turn against us? Could bioprinters start to produce organic matter not compatible with humans, and instead to be used to create artificial beings which will be instruments in our downfall? Could neurolinking technologies eventually see the computers control us instead of us controlling them via the implants we have in our brains, essentially turning us into organic drones to do the bidding of our AI overlords? And could the tech which can translate foreign languages in real time eventually evolve to create intentional havoc through spreading miscommunication and lies? Whilst these are of course just theories, it certainly makes you wonder what the future of our symbiotic relationship with machines, with technology, will lead to. It could be said that we are headed for symbiotic relationships no longer based on mutualism or commensalism, but instead based on parasitism, with us being the hosts on which the AI parasites will feed upon.